What's going on, 49ers Nation, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a faithful, you better sit down for this one, because the Brandon Aiyuk saga just took another turn, and honestly, it's getting harder and harder to watch. This isn't the news any of us wanted heading into the summer, but it's the news we've got. So let's break it all down together. For those of you just tuning in, let's catch everyone up real quick on how we got here. Because this story has more twists than a playoff overtime game. Brandon Aiyuk was once the guy. A first-round talent, a Super Bowl caliber receiver, the explosive playmaker who lined up opposite Deebo Samuel and gave defenses absolute nightmares. But 2 years ago, things started to crack. Aiyuk held in during off-season workouts while pushing for a contract extension, and what should have been a normal business negotiation slowly spiraled into one of the messiest relationships between a star player and his franchise that we've seen in recent NFL memory. Fast forward to now, and the situation has gone from tense to downright toxic. The 49ers placed Aiyuk on the reserve/left squad list back in December, officially ending his season. Since then, there has been zero football activity, zero practice reps, zero sign of reconciliation. And then Aiyuk decided to take matters into his own hands on Instagram, of all places. Over the last couple weeks, Aiyuk posted a series of videos absolutely ripping into the organization. He called the front office little ass boys and told them to stop running from the bill. Then, just days later, he doubled down, calling the team stupid for paying him $50 million over an 8-month span before voiding his guaranteed money for the 2027 season. His exact words? "They mad, 'cause they stupid. They dumb." Brutal stuff, fans. Absolutely brutal. And here's where it gets sad. Not just dramatic, sad. Because underneath all the bravado and the trash talk, there's a player whose career might be slipping away in real time. Aiyuk is still technically under contract with San Francisco through 2028, but nobody, and I mean nobody around the league, believes he's ever putting on a 49ers uniform again. General Manager John Lynch has already said publicly that it's safe to say Aiyuk's days in the Bay Area are over. The team voided his guarantees. They spent draft capital on a replacement receiver out of Ole Miss, and at the draft podium, Lynch made it about as clear as possible. Brandon Aiyuk is available, and San Francisco is ready to move on. But here's the part that should really concern Niners fans and Aiyuk fans alike. Nobody is rushing to make a deal. League insiders, including NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, have described this as a complete standoff. A game of chicken where both sides are just staring at each other, waiting to see who blinks first. San Francisco doesn't want to just release him and get nothing in return, especially after everything that's happened. But teams around the league are hesitant too, because trading for Aiyuk right now means betting on a guy who hasn't played a competitive snap in nearly 2 years, who's coming off a serious knee injury, and whose locker room behavior has become a major question mark. It's not just strangers on the internet questioning him either. T.J. Houshmandzadeh, a former Pro Bowl receiver who used to personally train Aiyuk, came out and basically said he doesn't even recognize the guy anymore. He said if he were still close with Aiyuk, he'd tell him straight up to wake up, because the NFL doesn't wait for anybody. His exact message was that the league keeps moving whether you're on the bus or not, and once you get pushed off, you don't get back on. That's a former mentor, someone who genuinely cared about this kid's career, basically pleading with him to stop sabotaging himself. And it's not getting any easier to defend him. On top of the social media meltdowns, Aiyuk also has an active arrest warrant out for an exhibition of speed charge stemming from a December incident. There was also a viral video that circulated of Aiyuk appearing in a bathrobe during one of his rants, which led to some genuinely concerned reactions from fans wondering about his mental state. We're not doctors. We're not in his inner circle. But when even neutral football analysts start saying things like this is giving Antonio Brown vibes, you know the conversation has shifted from football to something much more serious and much sadder. So where does this actually go from here? Most signs are pointing toward Washington. Aiyuk has been posting photos in Commander's gear, and it's no secret he played college ball at Arizona State alongside current Washington quarterback Jaden Daniels. Rappaport himself has said he believes this whole saga eventually ends with Aiyuk landing in Washington. It's just a matter of timing. But even that isn't guaranteed. Some insiders believe Washington's front office could lose patience with the drama and pivot to other targets if this drags on much longer. Other reports have floated dark horse landing spots too, including a familiar face. Robert Saleh, who spent last season as San Francisco's defensive coordinator, is now with Tennessee. And some analysts believe the Titans could make sense given their need at receiver around young quarterback Cam Ward. Here's the cold, hard reality though, fans. If a trade doesn't happen before 49ers training camp opens in late July, Aiyuk is going to start racking up fines of up to $50,000 for every single day he fails to report. That's the kind of number that forces somebody's hand, and most around the league expect this entire situation to finally get resolved one way or another before the season actually kicks off. Whether that's a trade, a release, or some last-minute restructured deal, nobody really knows. But what we do know is that the 49ers have already moved on in their hearts and in their roster planning. They use premium draft picks at the receiver position. Kyle Shanahan has stopped publicly defending Aiyuk's potential return. This chapter, painful as it's been to watch, appears to be closing. And look, at the end of the day, this isn't a story anyone should be celebrating. Yeah, there's drama, there's content, there's plenty to talk about on a channel like this one. But strip all that away, and what you're left with is a genuinely talented young man whose career and reputation are unraveling in real time, in public, for the whole world to watch. Whatever happened behind closed doors between Aiyuk and the 49ers organization, it clearly broke something that nobody on either side seems able to fix. So that's where things stand right now. 49ers faithful. A bombshell that nobody wanted. A saga that just won't end. And a countdown clock ticking toward training camp that might finally force a resolution. Let me know in the comments where you think Brandon Aiyuk ends up, and whether you think the 49ers handled this the right way from the very beginning. If you want more breaking 49ers news the second it happens, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because trust me, with this team, you never know what's coming next. Until next time, faithful, this has been your 49ers update, and I'll see you in the next one.